Hey guys, Ben with Descent Off-Road. We're going to go over a trick on the ComeUp Winch control box mounted in our LX or Land Cruiser 200 light bar center. This would actually be the case for any bumper, any aftermarket bumper where you're mounting this control box not right side up. So here we're upside down. You can see these control boxes in and of themselves are not waterproof. They're open in the back. All the components inside are waterproof. However, you can see where the problem would lie is if we leave this sealed, will accumulate water down in here in the electronics. So we're going to go over a couple things, how to disable this switch if you'd like to disable that, but also how to make sure to properly drill this out for drainage. So first off, we've already got the control box mounted. I'll remove these two screws. This plastic cover comes off. This is what we'll actually drill, and we're going to want to drill right as close into that radius as possible. So pretty simple. Step bit works good. Don't have to be too precise here. So we're going to drill that as far into that radius as we can get, ensuring that it drains out. So now you can see once this bumper's mounted up level, that's going to be our low point of the control box, and we'll drain out of that hole. For the switch, I've already somewhat disassembled this, but I'll show you guys what we're doing here. So I'm going to remove the button. We've already unplugged it. There's a plug on the other side. I've removed both of these covers, just two screws. So what we're going to do is pull that switch out. So you could also just extend these wires if you wanted to relocate it. But on this one, we're just going to remove it. So from my understanding, this switch was put in to eliminate any potential parasitic draw. You got to turn it on every time. If you're driving your vehicle, even once a week, you really don't have to worry about that. If you don't drive the vehicle often, you may want to keep the switch. Problem is, if you just leave the switch on, there's a light on the switch, which draws even more off your battery. So we opt typically just to eliminate this. So easiest way to do it is we're actually going to, so we've unplugged it from this side. So that's our plug in right there. So we're just going to cut the plug off the switch. Again, you can reinstall that switch just to blank that hole off, or in this case, we're just going to leave it out because we need the drainage anyway. And we're actually just going to splice these or connect these two blue wires together. So we'll strip those guys. Twist them together. I'm just going to use a heat shrink butt splice here. Crimp it. Heat shrink it. And the other two wires, the red and the black, I'm just going to cut off right down at the plug so they're not hanging out here. And then we'll plug this right back in. And that should eliminate the switch altogether. And then we can button up the end caps and stuff back on the control box. So I'll go ahead and it'll be hot, but pinch that in together. And now we can plug it back in. Snip off these wires. Make sure you don't get the blue one. That's it. It's a good point to double check. You can actually see these wires here getting pretty close to wanting to get pinched in that screw. So just make sure when you put this all back together that you are not pinching any wires in there. There we go. All right, once those are on, tighten them up, and you should be good to go and eliminate the switch. So now we don't need to turn the winch on. It'll always be on for you. Just engage your wireless remote, and you're good to go.